Welcome to my YouTube channel, where this topic is OpenSea and NFTs. I am making this video to help myself learn as much as I'm trying to inform you. I would be kidding you if I told you that I know everything about NFTs. I don't know probably hardly anything, and it's a confusing area, and I actually have a lot of questions unanswered. This video will cover the basics of the OpenSea NFT trading platform and touch on its three essential types of metadata: editable, frozen, and centralized. This video will also discuss the essentials of Etherscan transactions. You can see my collection of OddOddling NFTs on OpenSea by going to OpenSea.io and in the search field type in OddOddlings. And now you will see the front page of my OddOddlings collection, and you will see there's 500 items, one owner because I haven't sold any. The floor price is 0.03 Ethereum, that little symbol is Ethereum, and volume traded is 0.00. Here I'm scrolling down through my collection, which is listed all from 01 to 500 units all the way down. As an example, I'm going to select one here and go to the details. You see the number that I typed in, which is also the number on the image, out of 500, and that helps it as a collected item. You see the current price, 0.03 Ethereum is $79.70 today. Then you can read through the description, the properties, the stats, and the about. There's a lot of properties, sets the ranking in the set. About OddOddlings is a little summary, and the details. Under details, you'll see the contract address, token ID, token standard, blockchain, and metadata is editable. And these are very important details. To understand the contract address, let's click on that one. It's in blue, and this takes you to Etherscan. Etherscan.io is the Ethereum blockchain explorer. And if you go to its About Us page, it says about Etherscan. Etherscan is the leading blockchain explorer, search, API, and analytics platform for Ethereum, a decentralized smart contracts platform. Built and launched in 2015, it is one of the earliest and longest running independent projects built around Ethereum and its community with the mission of providing equitable access to blockchain data. Now back to one of my NFT selections. I scroll down to the bottom and you can see blockchain, Ethereum, and then freeze metadata. And this is a very important feature, and I can't figure it out. So if you click on freeze metadata, freezing your metadata will allow you to permanently lock and store all of the item's content in decentralized file storage. The info icon for freeze metadata states, once locked, your content cannot be edited or removed as it is permanently stored in decentralized file storage, which will be accessible for other clients to view and use. Learn more about freezing metadata here. So I thought the whole point of NFTs on the blockchain is that the data is there, but in this current state, it's not frozen. So I toggle freeze on, and then I click freeze to the next window, and that window reads, complete freezing. I understand that by locking my metadata, my content is permanently stored in decentralized file storage, IPFS, and cannot be edited nor removed. All of my content is exactly how it is intended to be presented. Then I click confirm. It takes me to my wallet, and my digital wallet is MetaMask. And here you can see now there's a gas fee, and the current gas fee when I selected this is $22.42, which is 0.008463 ETH. So at that point in time, that's that current gas fee, and it changes. So when you go back, it's going to be higher or it's going to be lower. It depends on the price of ETH, but not only that, it depends on the demand. So a peak period of time, typically during a weekday, it's going to be higher because more people are needing gas fees. And then off peak in the evenings or weekends, it's going to be lower. This other info window pops up. Gas fees are paid to crypto miners who process transactions on the Ethereum network. MetaMask does not profit from gas fees. Gas fees are set by the network and fluctuate based on network traffic and transaction complexity. And so of course I reject that. I don't want to pay the gas fee to freeze this metadata on one NFT because I have 500 and I haven't sold any, so I'm not going to pay $22 just to freeze one. I'm definitely not going to pay $22 and something times 500. Therefore, one important item to note is that my 500 NFTs are not frozen, and that sounds to me, or implies to me, that if somebody were to purchase one, I could then go back and change the metadata, and as somebody who collects the work and purchases it, who would want that? Do they even know that that would happen? Then when you scroll down to the bottom of a listing, on one of my items, you will see item activity, and the little baby carriage minted is from null address to me 5 months ago, and it says minted. So it sounds like, oh, you have an NFT minted, good to go. And then I list it for 0.03 ETH at a great introductory price that I think from me. But as I previously mentioned, it's not fixed on the Ethereum blockchain. It's not frozen. It's editable by, I believe, the originator, the artist, in this case me. And after a collector purchases it, I don't know that they know that it's editable. Let's now look closer at Etherscan and how my transactions were logged there when I created my OpenSea account. At my OpenSea account's profile settings, there is no information about any transactions. There is only my wallet address. And then under settings, there's no information about the spending that I've done. So then I go up to the menu bar with the little Fox icon, that's MetaMask icon. I click on it and there's my account, or I can just come over here to the three dots, click on that, and I go to view account on Etherscan. That takes me to Etherscan, and at the top this address, this is my Etherscan ID, which is found on MetaMask and on OpenSea. And down here at the bottom, transactions, there's 2. So I've only made 2 transactions on Etherscan for OpenSea via MetaMask, and TXN is shorthand for transaction hash, and the hash is the location of the transactions. That's what hash is. It's not hashtag, but it's hash. Click on the bottom one, and you have the Ether price, and that Ether price is the closing price of Ether on the date of transaction, which was on September 2nd, 2021. Then you have the gas price, and that is the cost per unit of gas specified for the transaction in Ether and Gwei. The higher the gas price, the higher chance of getting included in a block. The transaction fee is the amount paid to the miner for processing the transaction. For the transaction fee, you see the Ether price, which is a bunch of numbers after the decimal, and then it is displaying the current transaction fee in dollars. Click to show the transaction fee on the day of the transaction. So for the day of the transaction, the estimated transaction fee is more because back in September 2nd, 2021, the price of Ether was more. And so the day of the transaction back in September 2021 was $8.24. Here we have the value being transacted in Ether and fiat value. Note, you can click the fiat value, if available, to see historical value at the time of transaction. And again here with the value, the Ether is shown, which is a whole bunch of numbers after the decimal. Ether price at the time of the transaction, but the dollar amount changes. So it's currently displaying the current value, and it says click to show value on day of transaction. And on the day of the transaction, the amount is higher because Ether was higher. This is me receiving it from is another party that I don't know who they are. I looked it up. I looked on Coinbase. I looked on OpenSea. I looked on MetaMask. The from, I don't know who that is, but the to is me. 0xDE is how it begins. That is my Ether hash handle. And so from is sending me $471.06. And so I think that's money I received incoming, transferring from, I think, my checking account. And what we end up looking at here is a very long string of characters for hash IDs with no other identifying factors of who these parties are. And for Ether, transactions, we're looking at these really long decimal numbers with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 digits to the right of the decimal point. How do you add those? How do you subtract those? How do you know who is sending to whom or what and how much? Just wow, it's confusing. And then we have the timestamp, which is very detailed. And then we have the block. The block is the number of the block in which the transaction is recorded. Block confirmations indicate how many blocks have been added since the transaction was mined. Let's go back to my Etherscan address page for the two transactions and let's take another look. So now I notice on the bottom transaction, which is the first transaction, there's the transaction hash, there's the method, and it says transfer. Then there's the block ID, the age, which is the earliest date of the two. From is unknown to me, like I said earlier, and it's in. So that green N is an indicator that it's incoming. Now let's look at that top transaction, which is the latest transaction, the most current transaction, the one that is labeled out. So at the bottom there is the ETH price, the gas price, and the transaction fee, and it shows the current dollar amount. If you click on that dollar amount, it shows the estimated transaction fee on day of transaction, which of course is higher. Back in September 2nd, 2021, I paid OpenSea $111.95 to register my account with them. Earlier, I had stated that my listings being editable once sold to a collector could potentially then be changed by me later, and who would want that? I found resources online that state that there are 3 types of metadata on OpenSea. I wish that this type of information was readily available and made clear on OpenSea. There is editable, frozen, and centralized metadata on OpenSea. When an NFT is created on OpenSea without any custom smart contracts, which apparently is what I've done, this is considered lazy minting, and its creator can change the NFT's information later. Then there is frozen metadata, and this is stored in a decentralized storage platform, and as mentioned earlier, we have to pay a gas fee for this freezing. Then there is centralized metadata. When the first purchase or transfer of an NFT occurs, then the metadata will get hosted on OpenSea's server, and it will become centralized, and then its creator will not be able to edit its property. And then under details, metadata, it will be stated as centralized. But this implies that there is a difference between centralized and frozen metadata, and that is something I need to research further. If all of this sounds complicated and confusing, you are not alone. It sure seems this way to me as well. And I doubt that an art collector more interested in following artists or creative trends knows about all of these details. So then how do we check the validity of an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain? I've come across 2 entities that help with this: Etherscan, as mentioned earlier, and IPFS, and more of this on a future video. I hope this information has been useful to you. It has definitely been useful to me, as I've learned while making this video.